good. Okay. So go ahead and reintroduce yourself. Who are we speaking with?
All right. Well, hello. My name is Asuka, Asuka N'Danya, and welcome to my cafe.
Yes, we've been here before for anybody that watched the first interview. Uh, this
Yes.
time it's a little bit more up to health safety standards as there is no fox running around on the counter.
Right, right.
Um,
No loose animals
no
at the
loose
moment.
animals. They've been relocated humanely. Uh, so, so between the last interview and this interview, what's been up with you? What's changed? What you been doing?
So, right. We were just literally talking about it before starting here, but I wanted to have a chance to retcon some of my answers to your previous questions because I was definitely not as prepared as I was this time, and thinking back, I was like, oh my gosh, why did I answer that? And so, just want to take an opportunity to correct some information.
All right. All right. What information did you want to start with correcting?
So you had originally asked me what I'm most proud of in this game. That was kind of the biggest question, and I,
Hmm.
I answered some just. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, I am proud of how good I've gotten at the game and how, the my skills have progressed. But if I really think about it, and if I really sit down and go, what am I most proud of in this game? Um, there's actually quite a few answers, and they're all deeper than anything I ever said in that last video. Um, so first and foremost, um, I'm really proud of just how I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I'll start off with a simple thing. I'm proud of this house. I spent 2 years trying to get it. And once I did, I spent a heck of a lot of time decorating it, and it came out just better than I could ever imagine it. And so yeah, just the time and effort that I had to put into this thing, I'm proud of how it came out. Um, and I'm also really proud of just how my G poses. I do a lot of G posing. I just posted quite a few yesterday. And I'm really proud of how much they've improved over the years, and just the the what I can get out of them is it's honestly like the main art form that I actually feel good at, like that I have my main what is it, artistic outlet, that's the word.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I remember your early days of G posing inside the FC house, which we talked about last time too, but
Yeah, you showed off probably the worst G poses I've ever taken.
I showed up late. I showed, I think, the first G poses that you ever shared.
Right. They were my very, very first forays into
Right.
taking screenshots in Final Fantasy 14. So
Right. Yeah.
they're not the same quality as what I'm putting out now. So
Right.
um
Right. And I can I'll maybe throw a few of the newer ones up on screen after finding those
yeah.
original ones and putting them back up just because to show a
Right,
little bit of
okay.
a
Just
progression basically.
that's, you know what, that's fair. I appreciate that part.
The
So
frame of reference. Yeah.
right.
But yeah, no, they've definitely come a long way. I know that.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not the best G poser in the world, but I can recognize that they definitely got a lot better over the years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, oh, hold on one second before
Hmm.
we move on. I want to pull up my screenshots folder and get this on record,
Okay.
because my screenshot folder is, yep, 14.4 gigabytes large.
Holy shit. Okay.
It contains 3,789 files divided into 45 folders.
No.
So that's the number of screenshots I take now.
You even have them ordered and like
Ordered by first year and then month. So
oh,
I have a folder for 2021, 22, 23, and 24, and each of those have 12 month folders in them each. So
okay.
um, yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah, I thought that I was doing bad because when I went through Shadowbringers and Endwalker, I took a ton of screenshots. My folder's only 6.
Mm.
So,
There you go. No, yeah, rookie numbers.
yeah, no, I have to bump those numbers up apparently. It got too unwieldy on my normal folder, so I just bunched them all together from the prior expansions and put them in a separate folder just says old Final Fantasy 14 picks. So when I take new
Oh,
ones, I
okay,
don't have
yeah.
to filter through all of those.
No, yeah, I have a full catalog that honestly sometimes I use to remember life events.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it is good about
So
that.
like,
I will say that.
right.
It was very
I'll
good
go
about
through. I
that.
was like, oh, when was that? Oh, I know. I took this screenshot when that happened. So let me go back and look through my screenshots and figure out when this major life event was, rather than actually being able to remember it. That's
Hey, you know what? There's no shame in that. I have to do that occasionally too. I've got some hidden away in like the default Final Fantasy screenshot folder before I had Reshade
oh,
installed or knew how to properly use it. And yeah, those are really flashbacks to a earlier time, like 10 years ago when I didn't know anybody in the
right,
game.
right.
Um yeah. Yeah, we've come a long way since then.
Oh
Um
yeah.
so last time, so you've updated your answer now, like you want to. I think last time you said you were proud because you went through. I think it was Thalia without dying as a dragoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Like well, here's the thing. I got tripped up because of the verbiage, because I remember you
Mm,
asked me like what's the most proudest thing I've done in game,
yeah.
and like my immediate thought went to, okay, gameplay, like
Oh yeah.
what was a recent like challenge that I overcame or something. But like when I really thought about it, I'm like, what am I most proud of about my time in Final Fantasy? And again, the answer came up with, my house, my G poses,
Mm,
my friends, this FC. Again, I met my partner here, and just like all that contained in, that's my answer, is the everything really is
ah,
um
yeah.
is more of what I'm proud of, and just the growth that I've had over the years through playing the game, interacting with people, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. Speaking of your fiance and all that, um,
yeah.
you kind of had a decent shift in your living situation since the last time we talked.
Yes, yep. We moved in together. We've been living together now for, God, a few months, I think
Mm,
now, right? When fucking 4 or 5 months.
yeah.
4 months. Okay, I'm getting four fingers from my girlfriend. Excuse me. No, bleep that out.
No.
uh, no. Um, okay. Oh God. Okay. Okay. I'm turning red. All right. Um, sorry. That's just a default instinct I have. Anyway, um, the yes.
Got
So
you.
we've been. She's leaving the room. She's.
We're on camera.
Oh,
You can't you
oh.
can't be doing that kind of stuff.
I'm literally. Oh, I'm. Okay, okay, okay. No, I'm good. I'm good. Just need to relax. All right. Oh. Okay. All right. Anyway, so yes, we've been living together for 4 months now, and it has been an amazing 4 months. And we're actually getting ready to host our first Thanksgiving, with some family coming over.
Oh.
Um, so that's why I was so excited about us getting a table.
Hey, it's
Um,
the little things you gotta appreciate when you're in a new place. Like getting your
right,
furniture together
right.
takes time. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
no, but it is kind of wild. Like again, just having met in an online game, and just over the years, just forming a deeper and deeper bond, and sort of realizing like, oh, we're we're a pretty good match, and so then moving that forward into moving in together, it's always I always laugh, and it feels a little surreal having met my partner in a video game online. Like that's the one thing they tell you not to do. Like don't trust strangers on the internet and don't fly halfway across the country to meet some. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? I flew all the way across the country to meet my partner, so
Yeah.
that's
I I don't remember if I said this in our last interview or if it even came up, but that's how I met my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I met
I didn't
Saren.
know that. I thought you two knew each other. Yeah, I thought
Nope.
you two knew each other before that.
Nope. We this was I forget how many years ago now. Don't let her watch this.
Okay.
It's been well over 10 years. I think we're at like year number 12 or something like that now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We were playing. I was in a gaming clan that I was running. We had like 200 something members, and she joined, and we played Left 4 Dead 2 together, and used a lot of voice chat at the time, and I was like the only one that didn't flirt with her, and that apparently made me desirable, and so she started flirting with me.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's that's the secret, just to
Yeah,
be aloof and hard to get, and
I guess
that's
so. Yeah.
yeah.
So we started doing our online dating thing too for a few months, and then I was working at a bank at the time. I was a bookkeeper, and at that job, I had to schedule in advance all my vacation time. Like by January, all your vacation time for the year had to be scheduled, and it all had to be together.
Oh. Oh,
Um,
that's awful.
yeah. So I had, I think it was 2 weeks of vacation time that was coming up in
Mhm.
like June or July, and she's like, well, "What are you gonna do with your vacation?" I'm like, I don't know. Like half of it was gonna be spent in Vegas because one of my friends was turning 21, um, and he wanted to go to Vegas, so we did that. And then for the other
Of
part of
course.
it, I drove by myself from where I live, which is Missouri, over to Colorado to go see her, and then she came back with me.
Uh, oh my.
Yeah, it was a little sudden, honestly. We were only dating for maybe like 4 months, 5 months when she decided she was going to move
Right.
over. Um, I had reservations about it, but we set her up in a an apartment. She lived by herself, and that's what I was talking about before when you mentioned just getting like a table for your place
Right,
because
yeah.
she didn't have any furniture when she moved in. Because
Okay.
I went to see her and I had a Mustang. Mustang ain't is not going to haul anything. Like,
Right. No. I mean,
we
it's gonna
had her.
haul ass. That's about it.
Yeah, it
That's
can haul ass, and that's about it. So we had like her clothing and stuff, and that was pretty much all she had. So I
okay.
bought her like an air mattress. I bought her like a computer desk to set up for a computer eventually, and then that was basically the only furniture that she had the whole time she was at the apartment. Was just a computer desk and
Right.
a an air mattress. Uh, yeah, yeah. And before the computer desk, you just use your computer on the floor. So, so I get it. I get the
Oh
being proud
yeah.
over getting a
Yeah,
table.
you do what you gotta do until you
Yeah,
can make it better, and yeah,
yeah.
there's
Yeah. And
um
then eventually she moved in with me. It's because I'm living in my parents' old house. Basically, that's what our living
oh, okay.
situation is. And if it wasn't for
Gotcha.
that, we might both be in the apartment right now. Like, who knows?
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I understand that. And I had the same thoughts too. Like, oh no, everybody says don't date strangers on the internet. Definitely don't go see people you only met on the internet in person. Like all that stuff. But
Right.
it
But
does work out sometimes.
hey, listen, in this modern age,
Oh,
it's there's you can get to know people over the internet.
oh
Like
yeah.
obviously be careful. Obviously, like I always say, like don't do what I did. Like I feel like I got lucky. Like
Oh, I
it's
did too.
right. Um but like no, you can and again, I think we'd been talking over Discord for like a year solid
Mm,
before we decided to start dating. What was that? Okay. And then even then, before we moved in together, it was about another year after that.
yeah,
Year and a half, I think. So like, I joke about it, but we did take our time and we were careful about it. And,
yeah.
Oh, we always still had our reservations, but I think we made the right choice, so I'm happy about that.
Oh yeah, no, I'd totally be lying if I said that I didn't have any reservations about just hauling this person across a couple of states to move them. After only knowing them maybe like 3 or 4 months. Um,
Right.
so I get that, but it does work out in the end sometimes, and so it's not the old
Yeah.
internet days. This isn't 1999, and you have to be
Right, where all you have is a blurry picture that may or may not be them,
right,
and their word. That's
right, or where this that you're doing something where there's no pictures involved, no outside communication besides the chat room you're in, and you're like ASL, and they're like 16 female Cali, like
ASL. Oh my.
I'm old, Asuka.
Yep. No, no. I might not be as old, but I was there. I was there when the what is it? When the ancient tomes were written.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah, no. I can hear you. I can hear Ariel laughing.
oh.
uh, yeah. Um. So for going back to the game portion of this and
Mhm.
all this, how far are you into Dawn Trail now? Because I know you haven't beaten it yet.
Um, we just got first mention of, I guess, the last area. We haven't
Hmm.
gotten to the last area yet, but we're close. So we've made it through like I don't. Well, yeah. I just ironically enough, I just went through last night and unlocked flying for all the areas except for the last two. So,
Okay.
the I don't know if we want to do spoilers at this point or if
You can say yeah.
because
I put
actually
a spoiler warning ahead of everything. So
right because the last one I did a couple people wanted to watch it but
hmm,
I mentioned there were spoilers and they're like oh we can't watch it yet and
yeah.
so um but yeah is there a question you were leading up to there or?
I was just trying to see like what your favorite part of it's been so far, since I know that you
Ah
said you've kind of
yes.
enjoyed it so far.
Right. I feel like an outlier, honestly, at this point because of how much, I see even just in the FC chat people
Yeah.
talking about it. And um like I think that it's definitely got its rough spots. It's definitely not as I mean, we're watching Maddie go through Shadowbringers
Right.
and we're just like this is what we had before.
Yeah.
And now we have Dawn Trail, and it's like
Right.
there's a stark difference. There's a stark difference. As much as I do enjoy Dawn Trail,
Yeah.
there's no denying that it feels sort of the weakest expansion thus far.
Yeah.
Not to discourage anyone from playing it, because again, there were, especially for me in the first part, I enjoyed that. That was
Mhm.
a lot of people heard complain about it, but honestly, if you look back at like ARR and some of the early stuff,
Oh yeah.
it kind of has that same vibe.
Yeah.
It's kind of just, reintroducing you to another new world, new characters, getting a feel for it. Um, and I think the choices they made in the story for, again, leaning more towards like the situation that you're thrown into is a classic, political vie for power, and you're helping different people get to that point, and they have you support someone who
Mhm.
genuinely cares, and I think that's sometimes that angle doesn't feel, I think, dramatic enough for people.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's like an element of that some people weren't expecting, and there's also been comments about voice acting and stuff, and
Mm.
and I think as a whole, honestly, there were points at which like Tancred kind of sounded off too,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
also like again the main voice acting they even gave it a update in this recent patch like they
yeah.
they kind of know
Yeah.
um but I think there is a lot of negative, I guess, what is it, um negative commentary about the voice acting that is
Mhm.
unwarranted.
Mm.
Um, because I think there are certain aspects where it does just showcase the character and the voice actor in really good situations, and they do a fine job
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But um, honestly, where things started to fall apart for me and where I
Hmm.
stopped enjoying it was after the um, Succession.
Okay.
Um, that area after that, especially, kind of, I was expecting it to go one way,
Mm.
and it just became this contrived mess of like just exposition
Yeah.
and not in a fun way. Like, there were several points where me and Ao were playing through it and we're just kind of like, I don't understand what we're doing here. Like, uh, but and then even after that, once the major event happens, I guess,
Yes.
it felt like the pacing didn't know when to speed up or slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think those parts really hurt it. Um, it's almost like it didn't have a solid identity. Like each expansion felt like it had its own, identity and feeling for it.
Yeah.
And this one felt like it was like a real grab bag. And
Yeah. Yeah. I can
so,
understand that. Um, having went through it like all the way, I haven't done the new patch content. I did the Alliance raid, but I haven't done the actual MSQ stuff just because even I'm having a problem kind of caring about the MSQ at this point.
right.
Um, the the problems you mentioned, like the voice, we'll say voice direction on this expansion has been a little off. You mentioned Thancred, but there's at least one time I remember Ishtola talking, and like the sound balancing wasn't there. She sounded like she was talking through like an Xbox Live microphone, and like she recorded it in the basement of her house or something, just like sent the
Right.
file in. And
Well, now I'm just imagining you still screaming at people over like Call of Duty. Like I want to see that. But anyway,
uh, no, yeah, and they do at least recognize those complaints because that line actually got fixed too, from what I understand. It got
oh, okay,
rebalanced. There was
gotcha.
one that you would not have heard yet because it's near the end that happens that they also fixed,
It's
and I've
been
hmm,
memed so much, I think
yeah,
I know what it
okay,
is.
yeah, yeah, that one got fixed, and the updated
Yeah,
version is way better. Like it's a huge improvement. Um, So they can still do it. I just don't know where the quality control was this time around before they shipped the product out.
right.
For the pacing issues you brought up were kind of one of my biggest problems with it too. The everything leading up to the big event for me felt extremely slow and drawn out. And
Right.
then that happened, and then I'm like, okay, it's gonna pick up. And then we go to Wild West World, and that
Right.
felt like that didn't belong. Like you should have just skipped through this whole thing, maybe have like 3 quests here or something, and then move on
Right.
because something big just happened. Why are we here? Playing
Well, and,
cowboys.
and I'll say this with yeah, with the train part especially, it's like they referenced Shadowbringers,
Uh-huh.
and we're sitting there, it's like, ah, yes, please, in the middle of all this, reference a better expansion.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking about
It's
too. Because I enjoyed the throwback, and I'm like, I recognize that guy from the first, and
right.
I'm like, oh no, his wife's actually still here this time. Hey, yeah, that's why he's not drinking. But
Right, right.
uh,
Uh,
I like that part of it, but the rest of it just felt pointless. Like it shouldn't have been there. And then
yeah,
the
yeah.
when you when you actually send the train off, and then that song plays, like that felt weird to me. Um,
That was yeah, the tonal shift, like, where I was like,
yeah,
okay.
it felt very like
Yay?
after school special, like kiddie show. You can do it. Like
Right.
I didn't enjoy that so much. For me, the final like 30% of the MSQ is where things really picked up for me, and I started caring. The first
Okay.
like 70%, I didn't like at all. I
Right.
feel like a lot of people's enjoyment of the MSQ specifically revolves, maybe not revolves, but is heavily impacted by how much you like a certain NPC.
Right. Right.
Because they're just like she's always there. So
Right.
if that NPC does not mesh with you, there's a good chance that this expansion probably doesn't mesh very well with you. Um,
I love her and want to
I
protect
know.
her and will do anything to like I will there has been some chat in this FC that I
Yeah,
am not proud of.
yeah, yeah.
I
Mimi's going through it
just
right
telling
now. She's
everyone
not a
now.
fan.
Yeah. It's I just how can you not? She's so precious and I will give her all the tacos she ever wants. Like to be fair, that's how I treat my girlfriends. So that's
Uh, See, you just want a cat to take care of. Like,
right. Yes. Yeah. Just
that's what it all comes down to.
feed her, pet her, just
I I don't. So I had mixed feelings about her, to be honest with you. At the beginning, I kind of enjoyed being around her. Like when she was first
right.
introduced at the end of Endwalker, I'm like, okay, it's like a comedy relief character. I can kind of get behind that. We haven't had one of those for a while. If you don't count the Manderville quests, you know. Um, and then it was just like everything. I'm just gonna say her name.
Okay, yeah,
Instead
no
of
problem, no problem.
yeah, the because I don't think the name's really much of a spoiler, but
No,
um,
no.
it was basically Talk to Wook Lamont was the new Return to the Waking Sands. Like
Right, yeah.
everything was like, go
Well,
talk
and
to
I
Wook
think
Lamont.
that's I feel like that might be more again when you talk about the quality control or like the
Yeah.
writing, like just trying not to overuse that's the other thing. Again, I felt like a lot of the quests, especially now that I'm doing the like unlocking the Aether currents and stuff, like
Mm,
a lot of it feels more akin to ARR. That kind
yeah.
of go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. Okay, here's a bit of story. Go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do
Yeah.
that. Here's a story, you know?
Mm,
And I think part of trying to fill that out, they lose um what is it? Like you start doing things and you're like, okay,
mm,
well, why am I doing this? Like the
yeah.
moment that question enters your head, you like the moment the question's there, that takes away from the story. But then the more you ask that question, the more it detracts, and it's like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? And
Yeah. Yeah.
like even, I mean, so even back in Shadowbringers, again, like I said, we were watching Maddie do Shadowbringers,
Mm,
and there's a part in Yulemore where you've got all this momentum going leading
mm.
up to Vothri, and then the Vothri does his thing and rips the top off a mountain, um, and then everyone's just standing there, and then gameplay wise, then all of a sudden you're off doing these chores basically.
Yes.
But before that, they take a moment with Alphino,
Mm,
and go, and Alphino goes, these people still need help.
right.
This their world just got turned upside down. They still need help. I can't bring myself to continue without helping them first. That's why you're there. That's why
Yeah.
you're going around helping people. That's why you're doing, that's what I felt they didn't have throughout this expansion through Dawn
Yeah.
Trail. Is they even just a small reason to be there to be the warrior of light.
Yeah.
That's the warrior of light. You help people with huge insurmountable odds and the little things, um and that's who the warrior of light is, because you do that to help people, to make things better for them,
Yeah.
and out of compassion and caring and stuff like that. But some of the stuff in Dawn Trail has felt just so contrived and out of the way that like
Yeah.
it didn't have that same impact.
Yeah. I had I think I had two big moments in Dawn Trail that really made me stop and be like, why am I doing this? And the
Right.
the first one was the trading mission. You remember those?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. That was the first one, where you had to trade a bunch of items to get up to a certain value, and you just kept trading and kept trading and kept trading, kept trading,
Right.
and it was like never ending. And then the other one was honestly Wild West Town. Like,
Oh yeah, no, that was the biggest one
yeah,
for me. Like,
yeah. Their train situation was like they tried to do the Talos, but poorly. Like,
right,
it's like the writers were like, well, this worked in Shadowbringers, and then they tried to bring it into Dawn Trail, but this time they didn't understand what made it work in Shadowbringers.
right,
So yeah, because there were a lot of personal character moments around that. There was, you know, talking to the Chais and building up his confidence with that little like pick your option thing to reassure him he can do this, and so he's not a nervous wreck.
right.
And then like, there were a few moments with the Crystal X arc and stuff like that,
Hmm.
that were really big and important. We didn't get that in Dawn Trail.
Right,
It was just
right.
like, hey, build this train, and then let's sing a happy song while we send the train off. Um,
Also, can I just say I don't
uh,
remember seeing any fucking cannons on the Crystarium. I don't know if you have to bleep that. I'm sorry, but I don't remember seeing any cannons at the Crystarium.
I'd have to go back and look again, actually. Yeah.
I looked. I went back. Or at least I don't know if like they show up in like a interim
Mm.
like scene or something, or not a scene, but like when sometimes they change the
Yeah.
surroundings based on what, like, I don't remember. Like, I literally went back to the Crystarium and looked around and I'm like, Graha, Graha, listen, I trust you. Like, you know a lot of shit, but like I don't see any cannons here.
Yeah. I don't know. My brain says that there's cannons there, but now that I'm actually trying to picture them, I don't see them. And so
Right.
it's a good point,
Um
actually. Uh,
so yeah, it's just like they're I agree.
mm,
Dawn Trail is rough around the edges, has some plot holes,
yeah.
is not like, but I think that there are some things that just get a lot of flack that don't deserve it, particularly Wicklamat. I think people need to go easy on her, please.
No, definitely some of the flack directed her way doesn't need to be directed, and especially the ones
Right.
from a certain type of people that
Right.
dislike her
Right.
for a very specific reason. And that's just shitty. Um,
Yeah.
Now, as far
So,
as good,
oh, I was gonna say, so when do we see this video on r/XIV shit posts? Getting torn to shreds.
yeah, yeah. Well, they like to do that. Uh,
Oh yeah.
but the other side of the expansion, not story related, but like content wise, dungeons and trials and stuff. How have you enjoyed those?
Honestly, pretty good.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, the one where you get I'm wearing the gear right now. Hold on. I mean, obviously not right now. Wait, fuck. The Vanguard armor.
Mm.
There we go. That dungeon was very fun, even after I ran it 80 times to get the armor. Um,
Is a good armor set.
especially, I think, yeah, the one of the middle bosses, the one where you have to like where they put up the energy walls and then like all these
Oh man,
different.
that boss is crazy. Yeah,
I love that boss. I gotta stop
I do
cursing. I'm
too.
sorry. This is YouTube, not Twitch.
No, you're fine. I don't
Um,
care. Say fuck all you want
just put
to.
like a Kupo noise in there.
It's
Yeah.
not like I'm gonna get
Uh,
demonetized. I don't have monetization. So.
right, right. And like a chocobo noise. Um, so that middle boss is fun. Um, I'm trying to remember. The Valgamaranda stuff was cool.
Mhm.
Um, so I will say that, yeah, I don't know if this is a question you were gonna ask. But the locations just look amazing. Like
Yeah,
they did a graphical update and they went over the top with it, like awesome in a good way. Like
yeah.
just some of the I literally just looked over the landscape sometimes, just drawing it in. But um, No, I said it because there's the one dungeon I was thinking of that like you're climbing up the mountain and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Um, they have a lot of very good looking locations. They really do, and that's like I said. Mimi's going through it now, and she sends me private messages occasionally with like screenshots that she's taken of the areas. She's like, "This is what's keeping me going. Like I keep finding new areas to like G
right.
post pictures in." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of
Yeah.
those." Like, then you never really stop finding them all throughout the expansion. You'll just keep finding new ones.
hmm
Um,
Yeah. Well, and I love, so I don't know if you've
hmm,
seen it in, let's see, in Yaktel, I think. Yeah. Yeah, in Yaktel, there's a lot of cenotes that
hmm.
like there's actually a place where you can swim like underwater and go through a cave and you come out the other side and you're in the bottom of a cenote and just looking up and there's trees and stuff above you. It's insane because that's the area they showed off in the well, I guess one of the areas they showed off in the benchmark.
Oh yeah,
And the music there, the environment there, I love it. And especially when you go down into the lower area and it's just all those like the glowing trees and everything.
oh
It's
yeah,
just it's they outdid themselves there.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, whoever the people were that designed the environments did a very good job. Um,
oh yeah.
I will say that I can't reference specific areas without pulling up my menu because I cannot remember their names to save my life.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I am awful with this expansion's names for the areas. I cannot remember them, and half the time I
That's
can't pronounce them.
interesting.
Uh,
Right.
they're a little
I
confusing that
mean,
way.
I'll admit I
Hmm.
had to wait whenever I saw a new location. I had to wait until Aaron Bell came on and said it,
Right.
but once he said it, I was fairly confident with it.
I
So,
I have to have it drilled into my head because I can't remember. But I will say that for me at least, like the dungeon content and the trials and like all the combat experiences were part of what kept me going because while like the story for me was kind of lacking up until that last like 30 to 30 maybe 35%, the actual battle content has been a big improvement over a lot of the prior expansions.
right, right.
Including Shadowbringers or Endwalker, honestly.
hmm
So that boss you mentioned is actually a perfect example because it's just so fucking crazy. Like it never slows
Right,
down.
right.
You're always moving. There's a ton of obstacles. They're dropping AoEs on you while you're trying to avoid running through a laser wall. Like it's insane. Saren died so many
Yeah.
times.
Oh my God.
But I love it. Um, the Valagarmanda fight. Um, the FC, the ones that have finished the story. We had
hmm
those extreme trial nights where we did that, and that extreme trial is a lot of fun if you ever
Oh,
get the
okay.
itch to actually try it. By the time you get
Yeah.
there, you'll probably be able to unsync it without making it too hard.
Yeah.
But it has really cool mechanics that I won't spoil, but they are just like a ton of fun. Um,
Okay.
and once you get to the as far as like easier content, once you get to the end of Dawn Trail, when you unlock the normal raids, those are my favorite normal raids in the game, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you do have things to look forward to at the end. Uh,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah. Uh
Well, I just have to convince AO to go through it with me. And
uh I get you.
yes, yes, darling. I know you're addicted to Cyberpunk right now, but
Yeah, yeah, or Guilty Gear.
or
Um
Guilty Gear. Yep.
which by the way, off topic, I did try their 3v3 beta test thing for
Oh
Guilty Gear.
no. Oh,
I'm very bad at Guilty Gear. I don't think I'll buy
that
it.
is so. I will say this. That is not the
Okay.
game mode to
Yeah.
base your skill level off
Yeah,
of.
no, I
It
figured
was
that.
right.
But yeah, just from that experience, I'm just like, you know what? I'm still bad at 2D fighters. I'll just stick with Tekken. Like that's okay. Uh,
Right. Okay. That's fair.
um, but I don't think we asked this question last time. I literally just rewatched our interview yesterday, but I've been on like Benadryl because I had like issues going on,
Oh, okay.
so my brain's all like foggy. Um, what outside of the game here, like what is it that you've got an interest in? Like any sort of hobbies or just general interests or anything like that that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I know we definitely brought it up last
Do we?
time,
I can't
that I
remember.
do live streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That.
There's that. I play guitar. I build Gundam models. I haven't done that in a while actually, but um, I'm trying to think what else. I've started doing 3D modeling and some. Let me think. Uh, oh, okay. Yes, and I do cooking a good amount of cooking IRL now
Yeah.
that I actually have a kitchen basically to myself. When I created Asuka here, I
Mm,
basically wanted her to be me if I could do anything I wanted.
right.
And so very early on, I became a culinarian, and as you can see, I have my own cafe and kitchen, and so IRL, I really do love cooking, and so I've been experimenting with different Asian dishes and Italian dishes and stuff like that, and just going all out on the seasonings and ingredients, and just cooking with a wok for the first time now, and
Mm.
doing all sorts of. Oh yeah, we made those tacos that one time, and I nailed that. I did some classic seasonings on the tacos, and um,
All right. All right.
the. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's mostly it. What noodles? What about noodles? I make noodles.
We're just
Just
going
got
through
two
your
thumbs up.
menu
Okay.
now.
AO likes my noodles. Take that how you will. Um,
First it was the fingers, now it's the noodle.
fingers, nose, noodles. Yes, yes. Um, and trying to think what else. Yeah, no.
You
That's mostly it. Yeah.
you have the, like you mentioned before in Discord, you have the Final Fantasy 14 cookbook, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Uh,
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do a lot of recipes from that recently, just
made that
because some of
drink,
the
but
ingredients in there.
yeah.
Yeah, we made the high, or was it the high potion, or was it the ether or elixir? The high
Mhm.
elixir. That was it. And that turned out really nice. But yeah, beyond that, we just haven't really looked through and gotten any of the recipes that have ingredients that are easily accessible at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of these cookbooks is like they recommend these huge like one-off ingredients. Sometimes that I've never even heard of
right.
before because I'm very basic with my tastes. So I'm like, what the fuck is
Hmm.
that? Where do I get that?
Or it's like, yeah, just get a whole duck. Just
Right.
get a whole duck.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure they got that at Walmart, right? Like I can
Right. Yeah, exactly.
just
Um, but I think didn't you try the that pork belly recipe, or was that
no.
Rio?
No, that wouldn't.
That might have been Rio.
Yeah, that would have been Rio. He has the cookbook too. I don't cook. I am a terrible
Oh,
cook.
okay.
Um I
Gotcha.
can make basics. I can
Oh,
make
right. Yeah,
eggs and bacon and
Saren.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Saren does all the cooking when she feels like it, which isn't all that often. So we have a lot of like frozen dinners. Um,
Okay.
but I get frustrated at myself because I'm so bad at cooking that about half the time I mess the food up, and then I'm like, well, good. I wasted money, and I'm also unhappy without taste. Like, this was a worthwhile endeavor. I'll definitely do this again.
Right, right.
uh,
Um, my favorite recipe in that book is the Ishgardian muffins because it's literally just English muffins, and I'm like,
yeah,
I could just get those from a store. Like, I know they'd probably turn out like 1,000 times better if we made them ourselves, but
right.
like, I'm like, why when I could just get a big pack and just cross out
Hmm.
Thomas and write, what is it, Ishgardian muffins.
There's also the and I think I have it listed in the pins for the food channel. But there's also the community made Final Fantasy 15 recipe book that has a lot
Okay.
of more easily accessible dishes in it. The more
Right.
common ingredients if you need like extra things to try out in the future. We have that too. Um
Well, I actually,
mm,
very early on, before I even knew the cookbook existed, I made the mint lassi or lassi.
yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I don't
Lassi.
know.
Okay,
I've only
the
ever
mint
seen it in
lassi.
text. Yeah. So
Right. Just based on the in-game description.
yeah.
So I mean I think I looked up like an actual recipe for it, but I just used whatever ingredients I could find that were
Yeah.
akin to the ones in game. Like the ingredients in the culinarian list are very thoroughly fleshed out. You could
Mm.
just looking at that, you could make your own food based on
Yeah.
what's in the culinary and crafting recipes, you know.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. And just this is kind of like a sidebar, I guess. I don't know. It's not it's a little related, but the there's been a marked increase in the amount of games that make food look really good. Like
Right.
Final Fantasy 15 would make me hungry all the damn time.
Oh no.
Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter Wilds, I
Monster
played that.
Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, I played that beta when Monster Hunter Wilds came out. Their food looked great, and I'm just like, oh no. Like-
Right. Even Zenless Zone Zero
yes, Zenless Zone
has like
Zero.
the noodle shop
Uh,
and they like it's a little more cartoony, but it still looks really good.
yeah,
Like
and that's there's this game for the Switch called Unicorn Overlord that also has restaurants with food, and it also looks good. And I'm just like, God, like, you guys are
yeah.
killing me. I got my TV dinner over here, like my frozen TV dinner.
Right, right. Well, my favorite thing is if you I mean I didn't mean to stand up here, but if I'm just gonna take a peek over here. Yeah,
Okay.
so if you look at this dish next to me that's got like the spaghetti and stuff, like it looks all right, but then when you
Yeah.
look at the burritos next to it,
Right.
or even like the takoyaki all the way down on this side, like
Yeah.
if you look at the ARR food for table decorations, you can see how much of a improvement that it is. Like
Oh yeah.
they just have like do they have just a department dedicated to 3D modeling foods?
Right. Yeah. Now we're actually getting NPCs that actually eat food in front of us, and they actually take
Oh,
real bites
right,
out of it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, hold on. I know I even saw an article online, but this is probably going to be the most spoilery thing I say during this video. But in with Zero and
Yeah.
the Buzz,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that was like, well, and
They put a
literally,
lot of
so
effort into that.
AO and I literally found a what was it, a like an Asian market nearby and
Mm,
got baozi, which is the real world equivalent to Buzz,
yeah.
and it looks exactly like that. Like they fucking just uploaded a 3D scan of that and just like the way
Uh,
it tore, the steam, the like they that was like we literally stopped and looked at each other and we're just like, what on earth are we looking at? Like just
it's
uh
yeah, it's getting bad. Like where video games are starting to make me hungry just from that.
right, right.
Yakuza does it too sometimes, and you're just like, damn, that food looks nice. Um, so speaking of 3D models and stuff, you said you were getting into actual like 3D modeling. How long you been trying that?
Not long. I've only been at it probably a few months. I think I started before we moved in together. Um, it just some simple tweaks and stuff that I was learning.
Hmm,
To different models for games and stuff. But the what I'm hoping to do is improve the skills well enough to be able to modify my own VTuber avatar to make her a little more, I guess, what is it? Performance, make her performance a little more efficient because right
right.
now there's a lot of background stuff on the model that isn't showing on screen and but it's still eating performance, so
Yeah.
it's like I gotta get it, make tweaks to it and stuff, but I don't have the knowledge to do that, so I'm trying to build that up before I try and do that. But in the meantime, I'm using those models for um, different things as I'm tweaking them. So
Um, I know it's a very complicated process to do. Uh, but it is I mean, it would definitely pay off dividends for you, considering you have the VTuber avatar and all that.
Right, no, for sure.
If you get good enough at it and you can do the rigging and whatever else is required for that, you can also just start taking commissions for other people too. If you actually,
Right, right.
yeah, and they
That would
make
be
bank.
well, I've had a few people for a couple of different
Hmm,
things. I've actually had a commission or two now for some um digital editing and stuff because
yeah,
I do some 2D art as well as the 3D, and I've been I mean I was making mods all the way back in what is it? I don't think I started with Morrowind. I think I started with Oblivion, Skyrim, and I've been modding the heck out of Cyberpunk, and so being able to kind of go in and make adjustments to that stuff has given me a good amount of knowledge for manipulating other things and learning the 3D modeling process has been a little easier with that background. So
yeah, yeah. I can imagine that. The I can as someone that's not like ever looked into being like a VTuber or anything like that, I've always assumed that they're kind of resource heavy to get running and stay running at the same time you're running the game. Um,
right,
and there definitely are
well,
very varied levels of quality as far as the models go too. I've seen some that are very stiff, and I've seen some that are very lifelike, and I
right,
I've also seen the commission amounts for the ones that are very lifelike by the really good people,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
thousands of
So
dollars.
right. There's a lot of different things that go into it.
Mm,
There's, again, do you want 3D? Do you
mm,
want 2D? Do you want live 2D? Do you want, what kind of art style are you looking at? Do you want it to be, um, how much rigging do you want on it? Do you want to use, like there's different face tracking
yeah.
software? Do you have a special camera? Um, I know there's some people out there who actually use, a iPhone, a an
Yes.
iPhone to use the cameras for the facial
Yes.
tracking because it has some really good Face ID stuff.
Um,
Um,
actually, that let me just interject real fast. I don't know a lot of VTubers, but there's one that pops up on my recommended feed all the time for just like YouTube Shorts called
right.
Limalicious, and
I'm oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, they have probably the most accurate motion tracking that I've seen in any VTuber, and they mentioned that they use an iPhone.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah.
The first one I ever saw that kind of like really pushed the boundary was Girl DM. Um, she was the first one I ever saw with a 3D model with iPhone face tracking,
Hmm.
and it was insane. Like she could puff her cheeks out.
Yeah.
It was literally there was like tracking her eyes, and she could like stick her tongue out, and
Yeah.
like she had another program, literally a separate program tracking her hand motion. So like she had full like body motion and facial motion, and it's like the amount of time, money, and effort that would have to go into setting that up
Yeah.
is absurd. Like
Yeah. No,
um
I can imagine. It does not seem like a an easy thing to get into, honestly.
right. No, and I was kind of fortunate because I had a friend of mine who I was able to commission for, ironically enough, it was for a VR chat avatar.
Hmm.
And then I had another friend who had experience working with not only VR chat but with VC Face, the program I use. And so I kind of picked their brain a little bit and was able to watch a couple YouTube videos and then was able to convert my VR chat model to a uh, VC face compatible model type. And that's why it's so inefficient because there were a lot of stuff built into the VR chat model that didn't need to be there for the VC face model, but I didn't know how to remove it. So it's all kind of sitting there in the background, eating up resources that it doesn't need
Right.
to. So if I can go in and make more changes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
um, that would be optimum. But
Yeah, because it would help with a lot of the more resource intensive games that you try to stream, stuff like Cyberpunk and things
right,
like that. Uh,
Yeah, and
Especially if
you've
you
been
start
tuning
adding
in
mods
mods,
to
and so
it.
you see, yeah, you've seen how like all
Hmm.
of a sudden the VTuber will just start jumping across the screen and
Yeah.
just like jittering and stuff like that. It's rough, especially when I want to play things like Cyberpunk
Hmm.
and what is it, Star Citizen, and just all these
Oh yeah.
real graphic hogs.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that. So the I think the last time that we had the interview, we like you said before, we brought up the fact you stream on Twitch, but I don't think back then
Mhm.
you had an actual schedule. You kind of
No,
do now,
no,
right?
right. I've been doing my best to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Generally in the afternoons Eastern time. I've been kind of pushing it later and later just because there's more people. Like I've been getting a little more not only fan engagement, but literally just my friends are online, so I can pull them
Hmm.
into different games. So it's like if I'm the only one sitting there, just kind of twiddling my thumbs in Cyberpunk, that's not really entertaining for everyone. Like I have fun, don't get me wrong, but um, and some people still join and have fun, and we have a good time. But it just
Hmm.
kind of feels like it's here's the thing the times I've gotten offline on Twitch, gotten online with my friends, and then we start having a blast, and I'm not streaming
Right.
it. Like that's really what I want to capture. I want to capture that energy and fun and just kind of. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like doing the quieter streams where I'm doing like Dystopica or Tiny Glade or again, I do want to do like ASMR streams, so I might start doing some like early morning chill streams and then evening just more gaming streams and
Yeah.
then so I'm still working a few things out, but yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best times to catch me, generally in the afternoons Eastern time. Um and then what I want to start doing is either streaming like every other day or at least one weekend stream. So um but
Okay.
with the holidays coming up, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get that going.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it'd be a hectic week for that right now. Thanksgiving coming up.
yep.
Um, the what you were saying before about how like you enjoy streaming like the cozy like slow paced stuff too, but you want to get that energy with the extra people in there. I can kind of understand that because it's nice once you've already kind of got a fan base built up, I guess, or
Mhm.
following. To do the kind of more relaxed, chill stuff. It's harder to attract an audience by starting with that stuff, I feel.
Right, right.
It's a lot easier to attract people with like a lot of action and a lot of like commentary and a lot of just hectic. I can't talk. Hecticness.
Right. Like, and
uh,
I don't wanna force it or anything, but
yeah,
I've noticed it does just happen more naturally if
yeah.
I stream later. Like that's
It's easier
so
to
it's like
be entertaining when you have other people to bounce off of. Basically,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. I get that. And I guess at least for me, like I assume it's the same for other people. Like your normal stream start time, which is I think like 2 p.m. my time, like 3 years. Is that right? When you get
Right,
started.
I think so.
Um, for me, unless I happen to be off that day, I'm in the middle of my work day at that point. Like I can't I can't come.
Right, right.
Can't look at things or participate or anything until and I'll get off work till like 7. So on those days,
Yeah.
I just miss the
Uh,
whole thing. Um,
yeah. Well, at
mm,
the number of times I've been like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wind down. I'm gonna
yeah.
turn the stream off," and then I start watching my viewer count tick up. Like I'm like, "Wait, fuck, no, stop, wait."
You're like 4 hours into it, and now you're getting like five new
Right.
people. And you're like, well, guys, I was about to
Yeah.
wrap up, so let me just send you over here.
I'm like, I'm on my fifth coffee.
Yeah.
Like this is um yeah, so I've just because of that, I've just been pushing the streams later. I think it's more natural. It's gonna be more fun. It's so um and then that gives me more time during the day to take care of like chores and stuff
Yeah.
and get prepared for it and stuff
Yeah, that
and
makes
have
sense.
lunch with AO and she can join the streams as well.
Does
Because yeah,
oh good.
oh, I was gonna say because yeah, originally the reason I was streaming as early as I was is because I
Mm.
wanted to wrap up my stream when AO got home from work so we could cook and have dinner together and
Yeah.
not worry about interrupting anything. But
Yeah.
she's had more fun joining in on the streams and popping in after work, so she enjoys that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'll be honest with you.
Darn.
But yeah, I think like later at night, just because people are off work, would probably end up with a little bit higher viewer count.
Right.
And I just remember what I was going to ask. The do you do anything outside of just like your Discord announcements as far as like trying to promote the channel or anything like that? Like, do you stay active on social media promoting it, or do you just kind of post like, "Hey, I'm
Not
live"?
yet, right? Yeah, so it's kind of a closed system at the moment, and that's
Mm,
probably not a great thing because I have a link on my Twitch to my Discord, and my
mm,
Discord gets the alerts, but nothing else done. I used to have it linked to Twitter, but I stopped using Twitter, so
yeah,
I recently made a Blue Sky account, so I might
right,
start popping stuff out on there and uploading clips to YouTube and stuff like that. So,
gotcha.
um, and
Um,
I literally have like a planner for my Twitch streams, and I've been writing stuff like that down, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it, and yeah, just with the holidays, I'm like, maybe after that.
well, hey, you're way more organized than I am about anything. I in my like personal experience, the Twitter's a shithole, right? We all know that. But um, I think Twitter's still probably one of the better social medias just for getting your name out there. Still, Blue Sky will
I
probably get there. Um,
Right. Well,
the
here's the
mm,
thing. I I definitely want to do Blue Sky over Twitter because
yeah,
here's the thing. Even if I can get more people on Twitter, the type of people,
yeah,
I'd rather not expose
you can
myself to that
you can
level
still
of
get the right community from Twitter, but I
right.
don't know exactly how because I don't do it like on Twitter anymore.
Here's the thing. Yes, I could
Yeah,
go fishing in every lake I find, but when I look at the lake and it's right next to a toxic waste plant,
right,
like I'm like,
right.
maybe I don't want to fish here. That's
Blue Sky is way better of a site than Twitter is. First of all, they don't have
right.
nearly the amount of bots, and then on the other hand, like you don't have there is no Blue Sky like premium boosting your comments up to the top because you decide to pay some billionaire $8 a month. Um
Right.
so you don't have to deal with all the stupidest people having the top comments on every post. Um
Right.
and then like I don't do it, so I don't even know what the environment's like, but TikTok I know is huge about getting followings. I have absolutely no idea how to do anything on TikTok because that's I decided to
Right.
just stop
No,
joining
that's
social media at that point, basically.
yeah. No,
uh
the only social media that I use is like Tumblr, and that should say enough about me. But uh that's all I'll say. But but yeah, Blue Sky or like whatchamacallit? Oh, I was gonna say something. Um oh God, yeah, everything just left my brain.
um
The yeah, go ahead.
you just need to go promote yourself on Facebook. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, no. All right, you know what? I might as well boot up my old MySpace account and just scream it. No, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna go into the Limsa Aetherite and just start
Just
posting my
shout.
Twitch link until I get banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. It's like, hey, free drawings, put photo artist.
all right. Oh my God. No, no.
Every day.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the first thing that popped into my
Uh,
mind when you talk about shouting and limbs and advertising your Twitch. That's all they do is just shout, chat, and limbs.
all right, right.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah. Um, I'll Not really sure what else to talk about. We're at like an hour right now.
Yeah, no, well, and I think that's probably good. Like,
Yeah.
I was worried about the amount of time we had last time, and that ended up being like the shortest video, and I was like
Yeah.
upset because,
Yeah, it
yeah.
got way out of hand
Yep.
last time
Right,
with the other people. Now yours was very manageable because it was like 27 minutes or something. But
right.
yeah,
And Shun
they
was talking about magic for 3 hours, like,
yeah, yeah. They got way out of hand by the end. But any other things you wanted to throw in at the end here? Anything else you wanted to talk about or mention or just say?
Um, no, I don't think so. Again, I mean, I kind of clarified some of the stuff I wanted to. Again, I can't tell you um how awesome it's been just being part of this FC for so long, and just how much this game means to me, and everything surrounding it, and all the people that I've met, and same thing as last one, except without the crying. Just it's been a wonderful time. I'm glad you're doing more interviews, and I hope we get some more people talking. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for doing the interview with me. I will I'll end it here, and then when it goes up, I will send you a message. I have no idea when that might be because it is the Thanksgiving week.
Right, right. No,
And
yeah, take your time. I'm glad you're doing it, but don't burn yourself out
Wait,
over it.
yeah.
wait.
Mm.
I have
What?
unmuted myself and joined the conversation.
Oh no. Oh no, why?
I am so sorry,
Hey, I
Sid.
was here.
You mentioned that
Yeah.
you're really shit at Guilty Gear.
Uh-huh.
I just want to let you know and extend this offer to you. I have personally trained up two other players who went from literally just starting the game to, in the space of 2 days, able to compete in the game. Okay? And I would be so happy and willing to help you get good at Guilty Gear for free whenever you want to. Please, I'm extending the offer to you. Let me train you up. You'll love it.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
a former teacher.
I do not technically own Guilty Gear though. I got the beta because it was free. So
Okay.
and I'm like, hey, you know what? There's no better time to test it out than when they're giving it away. And so I didn't know it was a very short beta test, so I played like one day, decided I was shit at it, and then it was no longer available. So
Oh.
so sorry to disappoint. Maybe sometime in the future if it goes on sale, because it does have a nice kind of art style that I like, but I am absolutely terrible
Yeah.
at it.